believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
Come take a look. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
It's been getting quite busy recently.
Haven't you heard? There's a strange wanderer.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste. In Inazuma, the water possesses a depth of flavor unlike any other. Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile, but it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
Haven't you heard? There's a strange wanderer near Wolfenville.
I guess I'll post a commission at
Так,
the Adventurers
алло.
Guild. Today's recommendation is the steak.
Come take a look. There will definitely be
Так, ну все, игра пошла. Сегодня, короче, по плану просто идти и проходить сюжетку. Это все я пройду потом. Это все я уже прошел. Сколько у нас всего времени-то осталось? То есть здесь у нас еще 15 дней. Магазин у нас когда обновляется? Магазин через 16 дней обновляется. То есть у нас еще остается 2 недели, по сути. И будет обновление. Надо за эти 2 недели пройти сюжетку и закрыть, короче, Фонтейн полностью. Вот. Когда у нас еще бездна-то обновляется? Ну-ка. Завтра. Ну, может быть, завтра в бездну схожу, но это не точно. Ладно, пойдем вот это заберем. Потратим смолу. И буду допроходить сюжетку. Хотя, по сути, я не думаю, что там прям много осталось. Вот что ты горишь? Зачем? Все. Да, все, теперь она больше не светится. Что у нас со смолой? Этой штуки 5. Ну, наверное, что думать? Просто идти в данж и фармить данж, как бы. Именно артефакты. Надо ему хоть что-нибудь собрать. У него, конечно, тут типа что-то есть, но что-то это как-то не то и не очень. Поехали. А где он? А вот он. Сейчас 4 раза зайдем. По-моему, новых персонажей у меня никого нет. Качать мне здесь некого. У меня единственное, что остается, только фармить. Просто тупо артефакт, да. Можно, конечно... хотя вот тут я уже тоже все нафармил. Мне нужны просто кристальчики, чтобы ее дальше прокачать. Зачем она мне, я не знаю. Тут 5 уровень. Здесь 7, 10. Ну да, это тоже 10. И все остальные у меня тоже 10. И поставить еще одного персонажа. Ну, у меня просто нету. Дори поставить. Я даже не знаю, что она делает. Ну ладно.
The tide is breaking. your head.
Over here. Don't be scared.
Settle down.
Из-за этих эффектов вообще ничего не понятно, то есть куда она там двигается, что она делает. Вот. Хотя, с другой стороны, артефакты фармить точно так же просто бесполезно. Типа, ну вот выпал мне артефакт на защиту. Но был бы здесь сила атаки либо ХП, ладно, хорошо. Хотя сила атаки тут не могла быть, но в любом случае на защиту зачем он нужен? Так же, как и вот это, ну что это? Да, можно прокачать, но тут по-любому все упорится все равно в защиту. Каждый раз, когда я фармлю артефакты, каждый раз ною.
You play. Shadow Raven. Cue the spotlight. Hey, go away. Stay put. Surprise. Odds reveal.
The tides beckon.
Там надо было ульту у дельфина.
Midnight Phantasm.
Bow your head. Justice is blindsided.
Over here. Don't be scared. Chip on up.
Во, сила атаки. Шанс крита, крит урон, восстановление. Вот это можно прямо сейчас прокачать. И по-любому последний стат выпадет защита. И все упорится в защиту. Надо будет не забыть. Сейчас еще 2 раза зачищу. Хорошие часы. Не знаю, правда, кому их дать, но часы вроде как хорошие. Увеличивает урон обычной и заряженной атаки. А у меня... А кто бьет обычные и заряженные атакой из этих персонажей?
By royal decree, be amazed.
Let the mighty be humble.
Ну, по-моему, на этом аккаунте никто этим не страдает.
Silence.
Shadow Raven. Don't be scared. Over here.
Be sanctified. Bow your head.
Серьезно. Получил одну единственную тычку урона, и все, и сразу же его ешка закончилась.
Chip on up.
Не повезло. Пам-пам-пам. Пам-пам-пам. Что это? Защита. Сила атаки. Здорово. Конечно же не здорово, потому что там ничего нет, абсолютно мусорный артефакт.
You play. Odds reveal. Cue the spotlight. Surprise.
Silence.
Я нажал ешку. Где она? Почему не применилась-то? Он же крикнул там, типа, вот это вот там слово.
Wings of darkness. Stay put. Over here.
The tides beckon. Settle down.
By royal decree.
Привет, Апчик. Блин, как правильно прочитать? Апчигхба. Во. Блин, как правильно это читать? Статы у Невилета, я даже не знаю, просто какие-то там есть. Я делал ему артефакты. Те, что были, до сих пор пытаюсь что-то выбить. Ничего так и не падает хорошего. То есть 8, 108, 120. 58 бонус гидроурона. Это он вот с этой книжки ходит. И у него фуловый сет из ансамбля. 43 на 93. Ап, чих, па. Во. А я его выбил, как бы, и даже забыл про, если честно, про то, что я его выбил, вообще им даже особо как-то не поиграл. Так, теперь нужно переделать смолу, и я там выбил себе какой-то там артефакт один хороший. Его нужно прям прокачать. Там 3 полезных стата, и 4-й сейчас выпадет защита. Ну, на самом деле это как бы правильно. Какой смысл играть в одну только игру каждый день, тем более в Геншине? Ну что тут делать каждый день? Только артефакты фармить, которые тебе все равно не падают. Так, вот это? Нет. Вот это? Нет, нет. Вот. 3 полезных стата. Привет, Грост. А, вот, ХП выпало. Сейчас сколько раз упадет ХП? Слоты заполнены. Ну вот я в Старрейл также играю. Вот, 2 раза уже упало в ХП. Очень хороший артефакт. Уже 2 раза в ХП есть. 3 раза в ХП, да? То есть все, это уже мусор, можно просто выкинуть. Несмотря на то, что 3 стата были хорошими. Вот оно упало ХП, которое ничего не дает, и все. Просто все. Артефакт становится просто мусорным. И так каждый раз, когда падает хороший артефакт, он упарывается просто в какой-то мусор. Ну, либо тебе просто падает мусор, да, вот 1000 хп, ну, это же прям равноценные статы, да, либо 40 крит урона, либо 1000 хп. Ну, это же одинаковые, так думают разработчики. Я его прокачиваю просто, чтобы вот эти все 4-звездочные куски артефактов выкинуть. Я все равно этот артефакт, ну, это мусор просто полный, то есть он нафиг не нужен, я его выкину. А чтобы лимит не забивался, ну вот у меня там 1000 осталось. Потом, если вдруг что-то выпадет еще более-менее нормальное, я выкину это нахрен, чтобы не валялось. Так, эта штука у нас не качается. Ладно, пойдем тогда сейчас сюжетку проходить, или еще в чайник нужно зайти, чтобы не забыть. Да. Дела, да, нормально. Это у меня... Блин, это Европа, по-моему, да?
This realm is...
Так, а сегодня понедельник, да? Да, сегодня понедельник. То, что можно будет опять к боссам сходить. Ну, на самом деле, что-то мне прям вообще не хочется. А, да, я же и смолу уже все потратил. Так, где у нас там фонтейн? Я, правда, не помню, куда мне там нужно было. Добавить в друзья, так а какой смысл? Добавить можно, но что это дает? Так, где у нас... Вот. Хорошо. Это наверх. А как наверх пройти? Этот вниз. Вон. Ам. А, вот она где. Я думал, она должна была стоять вот здесь. Он едет вообще, нет? Да, едет. Уведомление выключено. Ну, ничего
I created
страшного.
another universe and founded paradise. For I
Как бы я стримлю-то тоже не часто. Ну, как бы грост, да? У меня на этом аккаунте. Вот покажу всех своих персонажей, да, 60 ранг. Каждый вот этот вот 5-звездочный персонаж, вот эти вот все. Вот эти вот все персонажи. Это все стопроцентный гарант. Ни одного 50 на 50 я на этом аккаунте за всю историю не выиграл. Вот такие вот проки, типа, когда у меня все просто упарывается в бесполезный стат, в защиту, либо в хп, это каждый 10-й мой прокачанный артефакт, да, даже, наверное, каждый 5-й. То есть у меня это не 3%, это где-то 65% на то, что у меня упорятся именно все, все статы при прокачке артефакта в мусор. Где-то 65% на это, не 3,5%. Потому что Михаила просто взяли и отключили мне выпадение артефактов, выпадение персонажей. Единственное, что я вот за последний год стал играть в игру меньше, и этот шанс немного поднялся. То есть я хотя бы начал выигрывать какие-то там оружейные баннеры. Ну, то есть вот мне хома выпала, мне вот эта штука выпала, вот эта штука мне падала. Именно я хотел вот там меч, хому, и они мне падали. Это вот единственное, что на этом аккаунте исправилось. То есть за 1,5 года я стал играть в игру раза, наверное, в 3 меньше на этом аккаунте. Вот они немножечко мне шанс подняли. А так, в принципе, при прокачке артефактов это для меня нормально. Не, ну я на других аккаунтах тоже иногда выигрываю. Еще выше, что ли? Куда мне нужно-то? Может быть, там есть какой-то телепорт, и я не знаю. Где это? Это вот этот этап. Понаделали, блин, лабиринтов, непонятно, куда мне нужно, вот. Потому что на других аккаунтах я 50 на 50, но хоть изредка, да, но выигрывал, а здесь нет. Я просто телепортнулся с нижнего этажа на верхний, и музыка опять потерялась. О, заиграл вовремя. Ты за 6, ну, за полгода, грубо говоря, один раз только выиграл, а я за 3,5 года игры в Genshin на этом аккаунте ничего не выиграл.
You really are something. To be able to fall asleep like that and even sleep talk the entire time, you scared Paimon half to death.
Ну, каждому по-разному везет, поэтому тут кому-то везет, а кто-то как я.
No, but you kept mumbling things along the lines of, Pyron, go take my grilled fish and put down the Adeptus Temptation now. Paimon talked with Sijwin the entire time you were asleep. She seems like she's just a sincere nurse, and Paimon didn't notice anything unusual in the room. Are you sure we're not going off track with the infirmary?
Вон про Синжевин. Она же вроде как будет именно Крио, да, лучник, 5-звездочный, по-моему, саппорт. Для электроперсонажей, что ли? Или нет, для электроперсонажей она не может быть. Значит, для именно Крио персонажей. Она каким-то именно саппортом должна быть. Ну, вроде как, говорят.
You really are super thorough. All those tiny little suspicious things that Paimon didn't even pick up on.
Я уже
We gotta
забыл,
get the info to
когда я
Lenny.
месяц назад его проходил. Уже забыл, что тут происходило. То есть мы сидим в тюрьме, мы кого-то искали. У нас же Тарталья пропал. Вот. Делюкса 2. А у меня Делюк, кстати, созвездие ни на одном аккаунте не упало на Делюка, а на Цицу падали. Ну, выйдет, посмотрим. Но она нарисована именно красиво. А так же, как и Шинхе, когда выходила, ну, красивый персонаж был именно нарисован. Но Шинхе я дважды пропустил, не стал ее выбивать. Ну, с хранительницей посмотрим. Если у нее в баннере будет Форузан,
Let's go meet up with Lenny.
то, скорее всего, я буду крутить баннер. Но не ради нее, а именно ради Форузан. Хотя у меня примагемов-то нет. Да, у меня только 100 примагемов. А так прям, ну, не знаю, мне уже не хочется выбивать новых персонажей, потому что это снова опять куча проблем, типа артефакты на фарми, всяких боссов на фарми, побегай, пособирай каких-нибудь жучков, цветочки. Ну, зачем? Уже надоело, если честно. Для меня вот просто новый персонаж — это куча проблем. Я старых-то прокачать не могу нормально.
Did you two run into any trouble
Так у
over
нее
the
же
past
вроде
few
бы
days?
отбирали эту стяжку. Ну, кто там вот этими сливами занимается? Типа, там же что-то говорили, что у нее стяжку отбирали, либо она теперь будет только на каких-то там созвездиях.
No, we just worked our shifts according to
Ну,
the
выйдет,
schedule.
посмотрим. В любом случае,
Nothing
то, что
weird
там
happened.
говорят, типа, это такое себе тоже верить.
That's good. That means you didn't raise any suspicions when you infiltrated the infirmary. We've taken a look at the slip you've sent. Fremine successfully left the grounds via the pipes 2 days ago, and as of last night, Lynette has also infiltrated the infirmary after faking an illness.
Wait, why is she getting involved as well?
You already went above and beyond when you scoped out the infirmary. To put it more bluntly, even if we were to view that as something you did in exchange for Fremine, infiltrating a guarded stronghold is a different kind of job from a one-off investigation. We want to avoid using the same faces over and over and reduce the amount of suspicion that will fall on any given. Lynette also felt like you have already taken the first step for us, so she should be the one to finish the job.
So that's what Lynette thinks. Oh, Paimon hopes everything's going well for her.
Then, let's go check on Lynette before Fremine returns. If everything went well, then she should be wrapping up her investigation right about now.
Is now really a good time to go over?
According to my observations, Sigewin always spends around half an hour away from the infirmary right before lunch. Lynette knows this as well, so this should be a good time. Also, I'm her brother, remember? It's only natural for an older brother to care about his younger sister's well-being.
Okay, then let's head over right away.
Не, ну, именно вот когда выйдет там вот эти все новые персонажи, тогда будет четко понятно. Потому что у нас в любом случае, пока идут все вот эти тесты, сливы, это все может меняться, немножечко корректироваться. Хотя в любом случае, да, если вот все вот эти сливы вспомнить, то в основном плюс-минус персонажи выходят именно такими, какими их сливают. Но все равно немножечко что-то меняют. Какие-то персонажи получают слишком сильные, их нерфят, какие-то слишком слабыми. Их пытаются как бы апнуть, но они все равно остаются слишком слабыми.
Strange.
As expected, Sigewin isn't here, but why isn't Lynette here?
No, Lynette rarely deviates from the plan. We agreed that if she were to make changes on the fly, she'd find a way to let me know. Unless...
Let's see if there are any clues around here. We can look while we wait for her.
Okay.
Не, ну Хутао очень, типа, популярный, прибыльный персонаж. Поэтому баннеры у нее тоже бывают.
We saw it before.
Wait, this thing? It doesn't look like it's been disguised that well. The space behind it is empty. From its size, I don't think it's an entrance that is meant to be taken apart. Could Lynette have tried to get inside? But if that's the case, she would have contacted me for sure. Let's look around here for some more clues. Don't panic, just take another...
Мне вот Хома упала на этом аккаунте, а сама Хутава нет. Ну и то я Хому чисто по
None
приколу
of the beds
крутанул.
have any signs of having been slept in,
Повезло, выпало.
except that one over there.
That's the one Lynette must have used, right? You said she was pretending to be sick.
She would have said her migraine was having a particularly bad flare-up. Generally speaking, the head nurse would then ask her to lie down and rest, which means either the head nurse didn't return the entire time from when Lynette laid down up until she left the bed.
There are some books here and a few files. They all look like medical records. Advanced nursing, how to raise the spirit of your patients, a quick guide to the psychology of emotions. These sure are some interesting books. She even has books on understanding people's motivations and feelings. Is it because she's a Melusine? Or does she have a need to understand her
Seems quite normal to me. These are...
Hey, you guys, there's a slip of paper over here!
A slip of paper?
It's right over here, and there's a bunch written on it too. It reads, out of respect for your usual practices, I'll use a piece of paper or card as the medium to pass on my message. You may consider this as me giving you my best regards.
This is...
Is that all? The back. This is...
Show me! Now!
That look on your face. Paimon's reading it now. Would you care to guess where Miss Lynette of the Fatui could be right now? No. Could she have? Is she already?
Writhely. Did he deliberately leave the infirmary unguarded to use it as bait?
Wait, you mean he was aware of our goals from the very beginning? But why? We didn't run into any trouble last time, and he also never reached out to us since.
Yes, that is a crucial question. Writhely. He doesn't do anything without a clear goal or reason. So this means he had no concerns about your activities from the very beginning. You're not from the same camp as us. You were sent down here by Nervulet, so you have no conflict of interest with Writhely. We're a completely different story, though. I'd like to know that, too. Why did he only go after her? Don't panic, just think everything over. I have to stay calm. This is not like what happened last time. The situation's different now. Wait, you're right. Wait, but that means the fact that Fremine was able to leave the grounds. Could Writhely have let him go as well?
But what does he gain by letting Fremine leave like that?
So he's challenging me and trying to provoke me, I'm sure of it. We never should have sent out Fremine. We had to go through all that trouble to find an opening to sneak him around the guards and into the pipe, and we even thought luck was on our side. If Writhely let him leave on purpose, then he's probably in a terrible spot now as well.
Lenny's getting more and more panicked. We have to calm him down. Don't be like this, Lenny. Fremine wouldn't have left if we hadn't told you about Child. That was our...
No. I'm the leader of this operation, and I'm the one responsible for this team. I was the one who failed to protect them. I'll go talk to Risley.
Hey, don't be reckless! Traveler, please!
I simply cannot allow Lynette to be abducted again. I have to go. I'll find a way to get them back.
He's rushed out the door! After him!
Right. I feel like we still have some room to make changes on these details.
It's not impossible, but it'll require extensive testing.
Is that so? Very well. Then please be mindful of the time. Huh?
Is someone?
Pack everything up. Whoever's outside is eavesdropping. They'll probably come in once we stop talking. Someone! Please help! He's...
Whoa, are you okay?
These two. As expected, they've already found this place. Oh, they are quite sharp. What a delightful turn of events. I like smart people, but I also like playing dumb. I like the feeling of being trusted. Oh my! What's wrong, little one? There's no need to panic. Take a deep breath. Being able to read human expressions is quite the useful skill.
Хитрая мелюзина.
Lenny, wait! It's no use. We have to catch up to him.
Только зачем нам это показали сейчас?
He's already out of sight. How is he so fast? Let's go head him off at Risley's office.
Come out and face me, Risley!
Aren't we at an administrative office space? Why don't you at least try to follow even a couple rules from the fortress's indoor management regulations?
What did you do to my sister?
I ran into the young miss at the infirmary. I'd heard that she was suffering from quite the migraine, so I decided to invite her over for a cup of tea. I do have some teas in my collection that can work wonders against such an illness.
Stop joking around! Where did you take my...
I have also heard that your performances are quite the spectacle. Miss Lynette would sometimes enter a box filled with water, only to emerge the next second from another place altogether. Maybe she'll appear behind you right now if you were to turn your head.
Is he trying to trick me into turning my head? No, he's probably not looking to attack me right now. All of the hostages are in his hands, and he's even in the mood for small talk. That means Lynette is probably still alive. You knew we were investigating the infirmary from the start, so you deliberately aroused the Traveler's suspicions and baited us into continuing our investigation, just so that you'd be able to kidnap Lynette. As for Fremine, no, you probably didn't even interfere with Child's escape. You let him go, so you could purge the Fatui members that we had planted into your ranks.
There was no need to do so. The Fortress of Meripede is a pretty pleasant place. Most people enjoy their lives here. The only ones who act differently are those with personal agendas. It was quite easy to identify your colleagues.
Короче, он ему рассказал все.
You removed our original members and spread the news of Child's escape so Father would assign our team to come down and investigate. Fremine has also fallen into your hands, right? If you're oh so omnipotent and so in control, why would you need hostages?
One correction. Lynette is in my hands right now, but Fremine is not.
He's not? What do you really want?
Lenny!
Oh, wonderful. Everyone is here, so I'll only need to say this once.
Thank you so much for cooperating with me. Eager and to the point, I see. Alas, only Miss Lynette is currently having a cup of the fortress's finest tea. Although, as per your original plan, Mr. Fremine should also have returned to the fortress by now. But he has neither shown up within my gates, nor has he been taken in—
Wait, you can't mean you locked him outside in the sea?
I closed the fortress's gate to the outside world. That's—
Fremine's a star diver, so he should be fine, right?
No, we're still here, so he definitely tried to find a way to come back for us. So we can't assume he might have made a break for the surface.
But why would I do this, you may be asking? To have an audience with you, of course. My intel tells me that Mr. Linney is a great magician, so it's only natural for me to want to have some cards of my own when it comes to negotiating. Besides, I do recall you mentioning to Miss Lynette that you've always wanted to have a face-to-face meeting with the Lord of the Fortress of Meripede, regardless of whether it was in a personal—
So, you've been keeping tabs on us before we even set foot in the fortress.
Some of my folks just happened to hear a thing or two, that's all. In any case, I will be straight with you. I was willing to play dumb and turn a blind eye, so we had a pleasant few days playing games together here. But once you started focusing on the Forbidden Zone, Mr. Linney, the cards are stacked against you right now. Miss Lynette is in my hands, and Mr. Fremine is still slowly being pickled out there in the brine. You know just as well as I that he cannot last out there forever. You need do but one thing to guarantee their safety. I would like you to contact your superior, and ideally invite her over for a cup of tea with me.
You want to see Father? But why should she bother giving you an audience?
Well, if she cares for the well-being of her dearest children, she should have plenty of motivation to join me for a parents' evening. I've heard that the bonds between the members of the House of the Hearth are like the bonds of family. I don't see why she would refuse.
Why did you think Father sent us to handle the Fortress of Meripede? This place is basically a no-man's land. It wouldn't be fitting for anyone as important as a harbinger like Father to come here in person.
Oh, I see. So it's because she doesn't care for my place here. That's such a shame. After all, I've amassed quite the tea collection. I was looking forward to sharing it with her. Both Monsieur Neuvillette—
Was this the extent of your master plan to get to Father? No matter how much pressure you may put on me, I won't allow you to use us to blackmail her.
You people really are difficult to get along with. All I'm asking for is a face-to-face conversation. Does she truly have no interest in the fortress's secret? Mr. Linney, you have one last chance to invite your father here. If you refuse—
Linny!
Instead of asking why I'm doing this, why don't you try to see things from my perspective for a second? From the very beginning, the Fatui has been actively infiltrating my fortress. I gave you a warning by cutting off the first few operatives I found, but that only caused you to double down. Had you given up on the fortress then and there, I'd have no reason to want to talk. Mr. Fremine left the fortress on his own, and Miss Lynette tried to pry out my secrets right in front of me. No matter how you look at it, the responsibility for this falls on you.
I shouldn't ask Father to do anything because—
6.
Wait,
2. Time's up. It really is a shame.
Risley!
Negotiations have broken down. Please leave, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for my afternoon tea.
Yeah, listen to the Traveler. If you can't talk to Linny, can you at least—
You do realize that I'm only letting you go because of Neuvillette, yes? You're here helping him out, and I've already done my best to stay out of your way. But that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. The fortress may be small and remote, but it still has its own set of laws. Then how about this? Those who are capable deserve respect. You've spent quite some time investigating my home turf by now, so I'll ask you 3 questions. Answer all of them correctly, and I'll agree to your request. Question 1. Regarding the hidden rules of the production zone, what is the truth behind the one about not being allowed to work for 3 days in a row?
Я что-то уже забыл, что там стоит.
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. But what could Sijuin be doing during that time? I've been told that the infirmary is always...
Что? Ну, если я не хочу ее выбирать, как отменить выбор?
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty. The Fanta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupons.
Я не понимаю, что мне
Meanwhile,
тут
the Duke
нужно
believes
делать,
that
если
only
честно,
idiots
я
who
уже
don't
забыл все вот
understand the
это.
value of coupons will spend them on Fanta. We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. It seems like she can perceive the Fanta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. But the product has to undergo a trial because even Fanta's own employees have a lot of reservations about it.
Что за фон-то, я уже не помню. Неверное предположение, здорово.
The research notes said that the Melazine race perceives the world very differently from humans. As a result, the Melazines have also developed a sense of aesthetics that appears rather strange and alien to humans. According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fanta company sponsored it. The company must want a return on their investment as well. Fanta's internal report... The Fanta promoter has been struggling.
Уже 4 осталось. Еще несколько раз потыкать, и я точно угадаю, что от меня хочет игра.
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. The Fanta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't... The research notes said that the Melazine race According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fanta company sponsored it. We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the...
Серьезно? Типа тайное правило производственного участка. В чем истинная причина запрета работать 3 дня подряд?
We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. It seems like she can perceive...
Ну хорошо, вот допустим, причем тут Синжевин, которая наблюдает за работниками, которые...
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. But what could see... I've been told that the infirmary is all... The research notes said that the Melazine...
Я не понял, при чем тут связь? Мясо, невозможности работать 3 дня подряд и мелюзины. Я не понял.
So that's what's going on. Paimon understands it now. Who would have guessed? The hidden rule of the production zone. People are not supposed to work 3 days in a row, and if they do, they'll get strange meat in their welfare meal. At first we thought this strange meat must have something to do with the people who disappeared. but in reality, they were all prepared by Sijwin, the head nurse. She often visits the production zone to observe the workers' health and makes a note of anyone who has worn themselves out after 3 full days of work. Out of her sense of duty as the head nurse, as well as her genuine concern for the workers' health, Sijwin visits the cafeteria right before lunch and cooks. Sijwin has only the best intentions with her surprise gift and doesn't want anyone to find out about what she does. However, unfortunately, Melusines as a race perceive the world differently from humans, and their sense of aesthetics is even more alien to
типа вот
us.
оно в чем дело, да?
The recipients of her lovingly prepared special meals cannot taste the care within.
Ну,
and
я
they
не
usually
Шерлок
just
Холмс,
freak
чтобы
out.
вот это вот взять и сопоставить друг с другом. Тем более, что я уже не помню, что там было по сюжету до этого.
Are we on the right track?
Not bad. You've uncovered Sijwin's secret and even guessed her intentions correctly as well. It's nice to know that her efforts have not gone unacknowledged. All right, now for my next question. There are also some hidden rules in the Pancration Ring, including the one that you're not allowed to support both sides of a fight. Why is that?
Fanta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. But the product has to undergo a trial because even Fanta's own employees have a lot of reservations. The Fanta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupons. Meanwhile, the Duke believes that only idiots who don't understand the value of coupons will spend them on. According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fanta company sponsored.
И тут опять что-то с мелюзинами связано.
The Fanta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't. Fanta's internal report suggests that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. Fanta's internal report
Так у меня вот это есть. Ту я выбрал. Еще одна пропала. Почему вот это остается, а вот это пропало? Нет, вот оно.
The research notes said that the I've been told that the infirmary. We often see Miss C. The research notes said that the.
Ну, я же их выбирал. И они точно так же, ну.
The Fanta promoter has been.
А вот, теперь одна осталась неправильная. Хорошо. Это что ли? И я все равно связь не понял. И я выбирал ее. Я выбирал вот эти вот все 3 штуки. И это было неправильно. Или их нужно было прям в определенной последовательности, что ли, выбрать? Я выбирал все вот эти 3 штуки с первого раза. Тем не менее, игра мне сказала типа неправильно.
Paimon gets this rule too now, so there really was nothing to be afraid of. That hidden rule of the Pancration Ring is about how, people are not supposed to bet on both boxers at the same time. And if people get scared when they see it because they've subconsciously begun to associate it with the missing boxer. But really, it's just a bottle of the latest yet-to-be-named and packaged new Fanta trial product. A blood red drink. It's no wonder even Fanta's own staff were questioning the company's decision-making. The company, facing backlash from its own staff, decided to try to trial the product on a smaller scale to see how it might be received by customers. They came to the fortress of Meropide and offered to sponsor the Pancration tournament so they could push their new product. But the Duke completely refused to even entertain the idea. The Duke, knowing how valuable coupons are in the fortress, knew that only total idiots who didn't understand their true value would bother buying a Fanta product. And so, only those who proved their stupidity by being dumb enough to bet on two opposing sides of the same match were selected to receive the drinks.
I acknowledge the effort you've put into bringing the truth of this mystery to light. Although, based on your description, that Fanta promoter is a bit too careless with his words, I may just reconsider my collaboration with the company. All right, and here's the final question. What's the secret behind our head nurse and all of her patients in the infirmary?
Stop your cruel and pointless games, Risley! You know that we haven't finished our investigation, so there's no way we can answer the last question. The thought of sparing Lynette and Fremine never even crossed your... You'll pay for this! Ah!
Lenny, are you alright?
Это в него кто-то выстрелил.
Oh, close one. I owe you, Sigewinne. That was a fantastic shot.
It was nothing, Your Grace.
Sigewinne?
Though this gun may look like a toy, it's actually fully functional, as I just demonstrated.
Sigewinne...
Not at all. I am merely a resident of the fortress, and thus protecting it is my duty. When Monsieur Nervulette asked me to come here, he told me that my job would be to take care of the well-being of everyone here. I am merely discharging my duties.
But if you mean what you just said, then isn't Linny someone you should be looking after as well? Isn't he a resident here just like the rest of us?
But I really am just doing what Monsieur Nervulette told me to do. Everything I did, I've done to protect them. Had I not, they would be in far more dire straits right now. His Grace knows it too, right? Your Grace? Mind proving my innocence to them?
My dear Sigewinne, whatever shall I do with you? Would it have killed you to just wait another minute or two?
Well, it's nearly time after all. The way you do things can be truly frustrating sometimes, Your Grace. I figured I should try to talk some sense into you.
What are you talking about? What time?
Take me if you want. Let them...
How touching. Can you just give me one more minute?
Don't be like that, Your Grace.
All right, everyone, calm down. 2 more visitors will be arriving any time now. I'll go get a cup of tea. Miss Sigewinne, I leave Miss Lynette in your care.
You...
I believe I hear footsteps.
Some space, please.
А я уже, если честно, и забыл про то, что у нас еще вот этот персонаж есть, Кларинда. Они ее один раз показали, и все. Вот она второй раз только у нас. И то она первый раз была в ивенте же, да? А нет, это был сюжет, когда она первый раз показалась. Да, это был все-таки сюжет.
Ah, Miss Clarinde. My door.
Fremine...
What's going on? What is Clarinde doing here?
Work.
I'm sorry about shooting you, Mr. Linney. The tranquilizing effect will begin to wear off soon.
What happened to Fremine? Wasn't he diving just outside of the fortress? Why is he looking like this?
A flushed face, an accelerated pulse. He must have consumed primordial seawater.
What did you say?
Please, make some space. I'll need to give Mr. Fremine a more thorough checkup. Your Grace...
I'll talk to Clorand while you get Fremine to where he needs to be. Everything else can wait.
Короче, Линни сюда отправили как такого типа профессионала, который уже десятки раз был в таких ситуациях, но, как оказалось, его план просто взял и развалился на пустом месте. Он сам попал в яму, которую пытался вырыть для Ризли, и все, что ему остается, это только плакать и умолять Ризли вернуть все назад, хотя он, по сути, ничего не сделал.
How is he?
These symptoms are probably caused by an acute ingestion of a large amount of primordial seawater. Still, of course, it would be best if he stayed for further observation. Let's leave him here for now, and move him to the Sorry. I am aware that the infirmary may not be your favorite place in the world at the moment. We do only have a single...
Why would he ingest a large amount of primordial seawater after leaving the fortress? How could that possibly happen?
Please, look after Mr. Fremine for the moment. I'll go fetch some medicine and a respirator. Oh, I'll bring Miss Lynette back with me.
Тебе на фокусника и аквалангиста пофигу? Ну, что и следовало ожидать.
Where is she? How is she right now?
Oh, she just took a nap in an empty room after I tranquilized her. If my calculations are correct, she should also be waking up right around now. You might not believe me, but His Grace and I actually made some snacks and tea for
Привет,
her.
лягушка. Ну да, их секретная операция просто взяла и развалилась, потому что план был не очень. Как будто бы вот его действительно Фишель придумал, а они такие, блин, хороший план.
What's that look on your face? I thought I made good time on the way back.
Oh, I'm just admiring your punctuality. Had you arrived just a few minutes later, Sigewinne may have been forced to shoot Mr. Linney again. How's the situation out there?
The water has changed. It's pretty much as expected. The concentration of primordial seawater has increased significantly. I was only out there a short time, so it wasn't too bad. But if one were to stay for any significant amount of time... Well, you can see...
Where was he when you found him?
The abandoned zone at the end of the pipes. A good distance into the water.
Closer than I thought. He must have recognized it early on and tried desperately to swim back.
Locking the door was necessary. I don't think we could have saved two.
Well, I did try to convince him that I had my reasons. Never seems to work.
It would probably work on Neuvillette. He has a knack for picking out who had good intentions, even when the outcomes were all terrible.
That's a bad sign if you're having to plead your case to Neuvillette. Want some tea?
Not particularly. If you want to drink some that badly, just say so.
Fine, I'd like to get some tea. Want me to get you a cup too, since I've already made it?
Might as well then, I suppose. Actually, do you have a towel? I would like to dry my hair.
Linny, are you
Ну,
okay?
типа, Ризли такой прям добрый. Ему лишь бы чаю попить.
I'll be fine. They're all here now. Don't worry about me.
Are you sure? You don't look alright.
My hands and feet are still a bit weak, but that's probably just the residual effects of the tranquilizer shot.
I'm back, everyone.
Lenny! Oh, Traveler, Paimon, you're here too. Fremine?
He'll be fine. But for now, please help me
О,
His breathing's beginning to slow down.
Give me a hand and help me get him to the infirmary.
Yeah, I'll take him from this side. Lynette?
On it.
ну когда-то давно ты, наверное, ко мне заходила, а потом перестала.
Traveler, you seem pretty worried about him. Want to come with us?
Ну, вообще, я мало
Duke
кого
and
помню,
Clarette are
поэтому
gone.
как бы я забываю, как персонажей это зовут.
They probably went to get some tea. The Duke will explain the truth in just a bit. Miss Clarette will need a break, since she only just returned from rescuing
Мгм. А они наверх ушли. Ну и выше тут никуда не подняться. Ну да. Ой, не та кнопка. Э, Вот этот. Во. Ну да, Джаз, ты прям прав. Именно вот так. Переезжала куда-то? А я вот как-то не знаю, блин, я вот всю жизнь живу на одном месте, никуда не переезжаю, и мне кажется, что, блин, взять куда-то и переехать, это прям столько проблем будет.
He's awake. Fremine, how do you feel?
Lynette.
А как он мог наглотаться воды, у него же скафандр?
We're all here.
Where?
The infirmary, at the Fortress of Meripede, Mr. Fremine.
How do you feel? Don't push yourself if you're not feeling up to it.
Travel. The sea. There's something wrong with the seawater.
Shh, it's okay. We can talk about it after you've recovered.
No, listen to me. This is really serious. There's primordial seawater mixed into the regular seawater. I don't know why it's there, but no one should touch it.
А, это же вода, которая растворяет истинных этих... Как-то коренных жителей Фонтейна, да? Это же вот эта вода?
Pipes. Right, the pipes. It's all coming back to me now.
Ну просто вот именно сюжетку все-таки нужно проходить за раз полностью и не делать никаких перерывов, потому что я уже много чего просто не помню. Оно же ведь все вот это состоит именно из мелочей, которые я уже забыл.
Seems like this pipe hasn't been used in a long time. It looks abandoned. Where could Master Child be?
Так, а у него планер-то есть? Да, есть. Так, фремина же у нас тоже из фонтейна. То есть фремина это... как и дельфинчик и этот фокусник, они же все из фонтейна. Значит, он тоже должен был раствориться, когда только коснулся этой воды.
This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it?
Об этом тоже говорилось, а я это взял и пропустил.
It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it.
Ну, неплохой такой лифт. Можно же было лесенку построить, но лесенку строить это для слабаков, поэтому нужно строить сложнейший механизм. А там внизу, я так понимаю, просто бездонная пропасть. Вообще, в целом, вот такой вот, это же стимпанк, да, типа стиль называется, там, когда всякие трубы, механизмы и прочая эта штука, ну, выглядит прикольно. Именно стилистически здорово. Так, а здесь никаких сундуков не спрятано. Это вот как в этой Пилтовер и Заун.
This is where the water starts. Okay. Master Child probably dived into the water. I'll go take a look at... The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. I should be going in the right direction. There are traces here too. I need to keep going.
Какие следы? Он имеет в виду разруху?
The traces are gone, but I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait, what the? My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What's... No good. I have to get back. They
still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it. I can't die here. This is bad. I have to push on.
So, in other words, the trail you were following vanished, and you had no idea where Master Child could have gone. But there was also no obvious place for him to have disappeared to.
Ну и как бы тут тоже, да, пару вопросов. Типа, хорошо, а если Ризли знал о том, куда идет Фремина, ну, предположим, да, он знал, что там будет вот эта вот вода, он знал, что он начнет задыхаться, и я попросил Кларинду его вытащить. Но ведь у них могло что-то пойти не так, и, допустим, Фремина бы не доплыл до туда и задохнулся бы быстрее, чем Кларинда бы его нашла. План, ну, прям надежный, да. Ну ладно, допустим, хорошо.
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I had already put some distance between myself and the fortress, and I just couldn't find the strength to keep going.
Miss Clarand brought you back, but we also don't know why she just suddenly appeared at the fortress, or why she went out to save you.
Miss Clarand, you say? I must go thank her in person.
You're still too weak for Monet. You can go after you've had some more rest.
Miss Lynette is right. I believe Miss Clarand will stay here as a guest for another few days, so there's no need to hurry.
A guest? Then I can assume Risley was the one who invited her to come down here?
You should ask His Grace about that. He'll be able to explain better than me.
Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on. Wanna come with us, Lenny?
No, please go on without me.
Lenny.
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now, but I still can't bring myself to leave. Both of you are just in danger.
Understood. Then let's just sit together for a while.
In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out.
Thank you.
А я почему не могу сесть? Ну ладно.
Excuse me?
I take it Mr. Fremonet's condition has stabilized?
Of course. I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
Райден выпал, ну неплохо. А мне за 30 круток C3 Райден не выпало, поэтому...
I've been
Ну, дальше я
expecting those
крутить
two.
уже не буду.
Might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Sijuin?
I wanted to check up on Miss Clarand. How are you feeling?
Mostly fine, I think.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam. It'll just take a few minutes.
У нее ж тут что-то нарисовано.
All right. Thank you
Ну,
for
на
looking
вот
out
этой
for me.
сумочке.
I'll take my leave for now then.
Или что это, шкатулка какая-то?
Well, want to explain yourself, Risley?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of explain. Where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you have? You can start with whichever one you'd like to get answered the most.
Then Paimon will begin. Did you know about Lenny's goals from the very beginning?
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals, I only figured those out as you made progress on your investigation.
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape, but in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Everything he did, from finding helpers to leaving this place, he did on his own. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbinger's unexplained disappearance. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went, so I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work. All I care.
So you were hoping Lenny's group would just do your work for you!
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that Fremine has told you already, the ratio of primordial seawater around the Fortress of Merit. The Forbidden Zone has always been Lenny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming entangled in more irksome matters.
Are the rumors true? That you're also a former criminal?
Now, why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison? I just happen to have some support from the rest of the inmates. That's all.
Oh, right! Paimon wanted to ask, who invited Claren down here?
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Claren could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
And saving Fremine was part of that crisis?
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, he probably would have found the missing Harbinger already. That's not something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate Child's whereabouts. All I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Fremine.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't...
You make a compelling case. Do you really want to know the answer that badly?
Yeah, Paimon really wants to know!
Even if the truth may not be pleasant? Follow me.
Door here? And a whole basement behind it?
А вот этот вот кусок двери, он вот этим вот чувством тревелера подсвечивался или нет? Что-то я не обратил внимания. У них же, по идее, все части, которые двигаются, они подсвечиваются.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the Fortress of Merit.
Вырубать стал, ну это нормально. Я вон на работе в обед тоже на столе лежу, сплю.
Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa! This
Это все
is the
из-за
forbidden zone?
недостатка сна.
Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see any. What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed to go inside. Hence, am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well, Paimon wasn't thinking.
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this place for yourself before deciding whether or not to tell them.
Но температура-то хоть уже не 40.
So there's a switch on the side.
Stand back.
Whoa! They all just went up one by
Таких
one.
дверей, говорит, всего 3, и они все стояли друг за другом.
Go on, have a look.
Это та же комната, где только что был Фремина. А тут такой же синий туман.
I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore any potential danger that could be behind it. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because some parameter it's been tracking has changed, if only infinitesimally.
А по сюжету у нас вот эта крепость Меропит, это что? Это бывшие производственные... бывшая фабрика, которую затопила, да? И то есть тут сами они понятия не имеют, как это все производилось, кто это все строил, как это все работает, так?
Normally I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking? Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure from the outside, but the readings didn't change at all. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations based on that hypothesis. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent the concentration of primordial seawater in the seawater nearby.
The concentration of primordial seawater? But we're already under the sea!
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is steadily rising. Yes, that's very likely.
But forget about the two of us. Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak.
Не, ну просто именно исходя из того, да, что он говорит, вот я когда вот заступил на службу, я сам не знаю, что тут находится, и вот есть вот эта стрелка, и что она показывает, типа я сам не знаю, то есть до него же тут кто-то тоже был, и, соответственно, и он тоже об этом не знал, и когда они сделали здесь вот эту тюрьму, то есть они ее просто начали обследовать, такие, о, стрелка, что она показывает, да понятия не имеем, сделаем это запретной зоной и все. Именно хронология-то событий, как они к этому пришли, кто эту стрелку здесь поставил.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and it's now very close to us. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea around us. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordial sea at all.
И у Фурины вот это вот типа, как оно, предзнаменование или предсказание было, да, что ну, именно всего Фонтейна, что весь Фонтейн затопит, все люди растворятся, и один лишь Гидроархонт будет вечно плакать, сидя на своем троне, или что-то такое было. Ну, типа, кто-то давным-давно знал, что эта штука вырвется, построили тут шлюз, и вот давление растет.
Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in the span of a night.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the Primordial Sea? Who built—
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find the actual answer may be exceedingly boring. It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research.
То есть они попросту забыли, что это такое. Понятно.
There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left to us by the people who used to live here.
И они сами не знают, откуда она взялась. Ну да, понятно.
When the previous Hydro Archon Egeria ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chasing away the banished. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain, struggle, and the bone-chilling cold. Some of them began to repent and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them and said, "You may go guard my secret, deep underneath the waves." And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community down there in the deeps, and over the years helped it to grow. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successors. The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, this dark underwater fortress became the sinner's only home. And with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain their freedom once they had sufficiently redeemed themselves. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, they could no longer feel comfortable living in the overworld.
Привет, тут ничего нет. Привет, Дмитрий. Говорит директор катка. Ну да, яралаш.
Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the past. After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontainian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be sent. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian. Everyone else just thought he'd made it all up.
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, then everyone will be dissolved into the sea. To be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from proving all too accurate. Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time, the third. Let's go somewhere else. I want to show you something.
А ведь жители Фонтейна могли просто построить лодку. Все залезть на лодку, и тогда их не затопит. Это же гениально. Построили плавающие города. Зачем им, правда, нужны фундаменты и все вот это? Ну, плавающие города построили, и все, и пусть его там прорывает, пусть сколько угодно воды из него льется. Она же все равно куда-то уплывет.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our last round of experiments have...
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone!
Ну ты какая недовольная.
Huh? Lorvine and Jurier?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about our plan.
What? After you warned us not to tell a single soul about any of this?
I'm skeptical as well.
Да.
Are you sure they are
Да,
trustworthy?
плюс и минус. Аккумулятор.
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could ever imagine.
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that you've heard of Edwin? Good. Saves me a bit of time explaining.
На самом деле я соврал, я не знаю, кто такой Эдвин. Ну ладно.
Edwin's main areas of research were archaeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up the fortress of Meripede?
Ah, what a lovely idea. I'm already imagining it in my head.
Gotta admit, I'm tempted as well.
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical consultants. While Jurier used to be Edwin's assistant, she used to be Jurier's assistant.
А, вот этот был помощником, а она была его помощником. Хорошо, понял.
Ooh, are they together?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using your work as a convenient cover?
Your Grace, I am not in a relationship with this man.
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
О, это я знаю где.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
Ну там же... Да, там было просто отражение, когда смотришь в окно.
Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Well, let's spice it up a bit.
Я же не могу, да, карту открыть?
And
Да, не
here
могу.
you go.
Ну. А, нет, это другое. Это какой-то этот... Экран-монитор.
What a huge ship?
Ну, кстати, неплохо. Поместится ли только на нем весь Фонтейн?
This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before. What's going on?
How much do you know about Fontainian history?
Not much at all.
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by the Lemurian dynasty. According to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, the Fortuna, he created his nation above the surging waves. He called his nation Lemuria and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands, calling on them to join his empire.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found at the end of a voyage.
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and technology at my disposal. Certainly can't hurt to give it a try. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also began this project.
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontanians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster. Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster than any catastrophe. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless call. Alright, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Do you have any other questions? Seems like you're good. Come on, I'll take you back.
То есть нам по кораблю не дадут полазить, нам его только показали и все. Ну вот.
I'll leave you here for now.
Эдвин, директор института. Я, кстати, не помню, кто это. Я его вообще встречал по сюжету или нет, я что-то даже не помню.
Thank you.
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw. What you do from here on out will likely affect those 3 as well.
Yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Great. I look forward to what happens next.
А я думал, нам сейчас откроют область, где мы побегаем по этому кораблю. Где она? Где-то же вот тут тоже окошки есть на дне. Ты когда спускаешься, и там такие окошки. Я думал, что это здесь. Или вот здесь это было. Но именно на дне, когда плаваешь, там такие 3 окна. Я когда 3 окна увидел, я думал, это они, и они типа выходят вот сюда. А нет, нам какой-то кораблик показали. Так, и здесь у меня что? Вот, все, выполнились. То есть я их не выполнял, я просто пошел делать сюжетку, и раз, и они готовы, хорошо. Нужно еще к Катерине подойти. Ну, кстати, помощники его что-то, как он сказал, обезумевший, да? Его помощник его назвал обезумевшим. Они тут так сидят.
Welcome back. Do you want a cup of tea?
How can you be so much like
Он ее тоже
Riley, always
на чай
drinking
подсадил.
Huh. Actually, now that you mention it, I just remembered something now. While I was sedated, I could still barely hear 2 people talking next to me. They were discussing everything, from the leaves to the water and even the teacups themselves.
Must have been Risley and Sijwin.
Yeah, I heard 1 male voice and 1 female, so it should have been the 2 of them. They...
I really can't make sense of this place.
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn anything from Risley?
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations? Yeah, I took the time to rest, so I'm feeling a lot more relaxed now.
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sijwin is also busy with something or other. So let's just talk here.
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself 3 questions. Firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea. My theory is, the long-lost primordial sea is probably very close to the fortress of Meropide.
Ooh, he's good. He got that right on the first try.
That's our Linny.
Secondly, Risley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely at first, then suddenly roadblocked us. Why? I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since the very beginning, he probably ignored us at first because he was hoping we could find Master Child for him. What's more, the Fortress of Meripede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Udex Nervulet. Risley is basically the king of a no-man's land. As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure the Fontaine authorities. And while the two factions are pitted against each other, Risley will be free to move between the parties of interest. If I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related to the secret of the infirmary, but I just can't think of what it could be.
You're super smart!
Thanks so much. Then finally, there's the last question. If Risley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with the changing nature of the seawater. He's even gotten Cloran to help him out. That can't be the full extent of what he's doing. There's probably a secret passageway behind the block in the infirmary, and there's something big in the fortress that most people here never get to see. He has a bargaining chip, and it could be important enough for Father to deal with him directly. I don't have enough information, so I have no idea what his chip might be. But let me guess. You have the last piece of the puzzle.
I can't believe it.
The sea will engulf everyone. Just like the prophecy said.
Could Risley have wanted to meet Father to figure out a way to deal with this crisis? If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve the crisis. But how could Risley have known that?
Or perhaps he didn't know, and just wanted to bring Father over to his side? Which could be why he said he just wanted to negotiate.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concerns as well, Traveler. I'll figure out a way to pass this on to our father. No matter what, we're on your side.
Да про Чайлда уже все забыли. Пропал и пропал. Да и фиг с ним. Как бы ладно.
The two of you have already aided us far too much. We probably wouldn't be standing here right now if not for you. If you ever need anything else going forward, please come to the House of the Hearth at any time. Though you may not share the sentiment, after all that we've gone through together, the three of us basically see you as family now.
You have my gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Linny when it really mattered. And thank you for sharing the secrets of the fortress with us.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden? Paimon's hungry.
Oh, you've done so much already.
Alright, then we'll catch you guys another time.
Очень длинный коридор, по которому я уже, наверное, десяток раз пробежал.
It's time for dinner. Welfare meals now being served in the coupon cafeteria.
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well.
Traveler and Paimon, over here.
Are you here for dinner too, Miss Sijwin?
And I'm taking the opportunity to prepare Miss Cloran's dinner as well.
Huh. You're right. She's actually...
What would you like to eat? Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like.
Me too! Don't forget Paimon!
Just leave it to me.
So delicious.
Ну, кстати, у нас же была дорога, по которой якобы пропал Чайлд. У нас есть тревелер, который, ну, не подвержен воздействию вот этой воды первобытного моря, или как она там называется, да, то есть, по сути, тревелер может просто туда пойти и посмотреть, куда же там пропал Чайлд.
Paimon's so happy. Paimon wants to feast like this every day.
Feeling
Ну, или
full yet?
отправить туда
How's
Паймона,
the
она
food?
бы смотрела.
Delicious.
I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see the expression on your face just now? The muscle here just moved.
Sijwin, do you do this to help your patients or to better understand human...
A bit of both, I suppose. I'm a melazine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take good care of you.
Ну и Синджвин, она прямо акцентирует внимание на том, что она мелюзина. При этом Диона не акцентирует внимание на том, что она кошка.
You're really good at taking care of people. Even though you're so short, you still talk and act like an older sister.
Really? You're reminded of an older sister? That's great to hear.
Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's office? When you said that you were protecting Linny and his siblings?
Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. I was getting a bit worried after hearing that something was wrong with the water. Thankfully, Glorand is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after Glorand left, to make sure that Linny wouldn't impulsively chase after his brother. Although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approaching. They were instructed to only open the door once Miss Glorand had returned. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linny as well. We had to press him, but we couldn't allow him to be in any real danger.
You were all super considerate and really thought everything through.
It's just what we do down here at the fortress. At least this has been His Grace's style for as long as he's been the leader. Oh, I really wish Monsieur Nervula would come down here more often too. I feel like he'd like it here, with all the darkness and chaos. Get a good night's rest, you two. You both worked very hard.
А мелюзины тоже будут растворяться, когда вот эта вот вода разольется.
Glorand!
Ah, it's you two.
How's dinner?
It's all right. Miss Sijwin really put in a lot of effort.
So we heard that Risley invited you to come down to help, and you saved Fremine too! You sure work super fast!
Oh, it was child's play.
Still, Paimon didn't know even champion duelists could take on side jobs. Oh, and why aren't you eating with Sijwin and the Duke? Won't you get bored eating by yourself?
Miss Sijwin was with you, and the Duke has business of his own.
Actually, didn't Navia say that you went out for dinner with her?
Yeah. First time in a long time.
First time in a long time? So you mean you've gone out?
In the past, yes. You seem to be enjoying yourselves here. Things will be getting messy at the fortress soon. Don't run around unnecessarily.
Привет, Тамаки-кун.
Seems Linny is saying some strange things again. It's really warm.
Ну, короче, сюжет такой, типа, запутанный, и просто так я, скорее всего, даже когда пройду сюжетку, я его не вспомню, что и как, и почему, и все вот эти мелкие детали. Ну, их прям действительно надо записывать. Ну, либо гайды на ютубе смотреть. Что и как, и почему было.
So much has happened. Paimon just feels absolutely exhausted now that she's finally. Paimon's super sleepy.
Бедняга Паймон. Интересно, а Паймон может во сне летать? Ну, либо спать именно не лежа на чем-то, а просто висеть в воздухе и спать при этом.
Delicious. Paimon wants second.
Out of my way! Get out of my way! What happened? Why is everyone running? No idea, but something must have happened. Stop asking!
Who's yelling? Paimon still wants to sleep. What happened? Why is everyone
Какая-то
running
сирена,
around?
типа.
Hey, what are you doing?
No time to explain, mate. Goodbye.
Нет времени объяснять.
Hey, wait! What's wrong with these people? They won't even talk to us.
They're here! There you are! Oh, thank goodness!
Quisto and Laveroon, do you know what happened here?
We came here especially to inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong just now. Laveroon was saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so you might slip through the cracks. Haven't you heard all the stories like that? An evacuation is successfully completed, yet you only find out once you do a head count that 1 or 2 people are missing.
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that up? Why is it suddenly
Hey, shut up!
Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us. Yeah, he said to get as far away as possible, upwards and outward.
Oh no, it can't be that thing!
Whoa, wait, what? What? Hey, where are you going?
We have to go find the Duke! You two just go and get out! Go on without us!
При этом Тревелер не сказал ни слова.
Be careful!
Почему?
Attention, please evacuate upwards and outwards, upwards and outwards. If you're already at the topmost layer, then try to move as far outwards as possible.
Бункер? Что-то я не помню бункер. Что это такое? Это сериал какой-то, да?
Attention, please evacuate upwards and outwards, upwards and outwards.
Сейчас Тревелер придет и порешает все. А, остаться в живых, которые?
They're here.
Just like I said.
What happened?
You're just in time. But be ready to run. 3, 2, 1.
This won't hold it for long. Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense. The gate. How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends on us.
Ну, я вспомнил, что это за сериал, там, где они кнопку нажимали, да, но я его до конца так и не досмотрел, и даже не помню, какой там сезон был или что. Я помню, что они там эту кнопку нажимали, потом нашли каких-то пиратов или кого там, ну, типа, там кто-то еще был, вооруженные люди, у них там был какой-то конфликт, они от них прятались, ну, хотели угнать у них лодку, и все. И чем там это все закончилось, я понятия не имею. Не, ну Ризли так-то хорош. Конечно, его план был типа прикольный, да, взять и заморозить, но это же нужно было делать до того, как она прорвалась. То есть закачал немного воды, заморозил ее, закачал еще, заморозил, чтобы вся комната была уже заморожена. Тогда бы она создала бы, ну, сама по себе была бы герметичной. Каждую дверь закрыл, заморозил, и все, и как бы... Тогда бы его не прорвало, а так получается вода хлынула, там остается воздушный пузырь, который попросту выдавит все эти двери одну за одной, потому что между ними свободное пространство. А было бы оно заполнено, тогда бы пришлось бы давлению давить 3 двери одновременно. А так она будет по одной двери давить и как бы...
Traveler, I need you to
И
head
всё
to the
будет
Opera
быстро.
House immediately. Farina will soon be meeting with the knave there. You must protect Farina and make sure she doesn't spend too much time alone with her. Will do. You have my sincerest gratitude.
Нужно защитить Фурину, типа... Все так сильно боятся... за то, что Архонт не сможет за себя постоять. О, два Фатуя.
Fatui and Palais Mermonia people over there. The knave is probably here already.
Are you two the traveler in Paimon? Monsieur Neuvillette has left instructions. Please follow me. Though I'm sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated if you could protect Lady Farina to the best of your...
А, кстати, Синжвин-то она передвигается не так, как остальные мелюзины. Она же просто ходит, а эти подпрыгивают. Что это такое? Синжвин тоже должна была подпрыгивать.
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Farina mentioned.
Of course, of course! How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table. Otherwise, the occasion would be too lonely and unbecoming of my station.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments. I am the Knave, one of the 11 Fatui Harbingers.
I've already prepared seats for you. Come, sit beside me.
Ну, вряд ли. Синжвин, она мелюзина.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Farina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together for tea when we had the time. See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Farina simply adores. There are only 16 slices sold every...
Traveler, what do you think of this cake?
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. You do share a taste in desserts with Farina and I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried about his safety, you know. Here's to...
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial prowess really looked... certainly pretty impressive, yeah.
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Farina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child was subdued by Udex Nuvillette right in front of you. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. I must express my admiration for Monsieur Nuvillette.
Зальешь себе гему просто, чтобы она оказалась у тебя в чайнике. А еще и дворец себе построишь. Не, ну неплохо. Ну, нужно еще все эти примагемы накопить.
Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
Интересно, у нее внешний вид именно изменят? Ну, там какой-нибудь костюмчик или что-нибудь, потому что так она выглядит как-то, ну, блекло, что ли. Они уже все равно всех новых персонажей делают, у них как-то и краски, и цвета более яркие, что ли. Мне кажется, именно ее дизайн был сделан давно, и поэтому он как-то не меняется. Они даже когда новые скины придумывают, ну, в любом случае они выглядят лучше, чем старые.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier. As you well know, a long time has passed since Child disappeared.
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry. We know for sure that Child is still alive.
Ну, все по-разному говорят. Когда выйдет, тогда выйдет.
Oh, and just how do you know that?
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Meripede.
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
Well...
The Fortress of Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you have any proof that he surfaced safely? Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was unfortunately unavailable, I picked it up on his behalf. Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm currently admiring the scenery on the streets in front of the opera house. Is it...
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate.
Hold on. The water in the teacup is shaking.
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come, Miss Farina.
Huh? I don't quite understand what you're trying to say.
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
A day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day. This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe. This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
All right. Seems like the problem inside has been suppressed.
Не, ну там как бы как Михаил решит, будет она играбельной, не будет она играбельной. Не знаю.
Let me guess. We're safe for now.
Indeed. But only for now.
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It was indeed just as you said.
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission was.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the courts operate.
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office. I'm thinking about a set of legal codices.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal codices.
That was obviously a joke. Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend to in the overworld.
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Mermonia for long.
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui Harbinger.
Ждешь свадьбу Влада и Нади Снежной? Ну, кстати, они же у нас каждый ивент, где появляются, типа, ходят там вместе. И была же еще вот эта история, где они же в Манштате, да, сначала появились? Или они были в Лиюе? А, не, они же были в Лиюе, типа обменивались письмами сначала. А потом их отправили в один этот патруль, что ли, или как, и они там на ивенте встречались на каком-то. Ну, доживем, посмотрим.
I must say, we've spent long enough playing house.
Когда отношения NPC важнее, чем свои, ну да. Как бы если своих нет, то отношения NPC куда важнее.
Miss Farina, as the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say, that's what I originally thought. But looking at your expression, was I wrong? And you haven't a clue?
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true. Yet, here you are relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really think that's acceptable? The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to saving their homeland. But you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with such absurd conjectures!
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now. Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am, I will be able to hold my head up high!
Then I ask you, Miss Farina, just what have you been working on? Where can we see it, and what is it doing to help?
My machinations are just like the prophecy itself. They will only reveal themselves at the fated time.
I see. As a god, the proof of your labor always lies beyond prying mortal eyes. Allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such as your emergency response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency response plan?
Oh, that look in your eyes. Have you not even prepared one of those?
The emergency response plan is also strictly confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Farina, what is the purpose of your Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
Это они говорили про часы, которые находятся в этом судебном зале, да? И индомедиум — это энергия, которую эти часы накопили.
The Oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you, Miss Farina. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the Oratrice in the Opera House. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Neuvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Farina, I suppose you must have ordered him away to take care of some troublesome business.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. Please keep it a secret for me.
Of course I will. Although, I must say, Miss Farina, you seem quite insecure without the Udex by your side. Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left, so please, help yourselves, everyone. Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? Those who work hard deserve gratitude and praise. You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Paimon will take you up on that offer. Oh, Paimon's super full. That cake was great.
If it's on my tea table, it must be of the highest quality.
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Farina's table. And I was merely catering to Miss Farina's tastes, seeking a chance to chat over tea. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters that I need to take care of, so I must take my leave now.
Very well. We'll end it here.
Mind seeing me off, Traveler? We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before I must be on my way.
Paimon's coming too.
Леона выбил. Кто такой Леон? Это вот эти вот часы. И они там что-то накопили. Булькает там что-то. Я что-то не помню, что нам рассказывали. Куда уходит-то вот эта вся энергия? Ради чего они ее собирают-то? Не, ну по сути у нас как бы, да, вот это типа жалко Фурину. Ну, Фурина же у нас второй архонт. То есть первый гидроархонт уже его нету, это второй архонт, который по сути просто заступил на службу. У нее есть вот это, у нее есть вон то, у нее есть просто пророчество. И она сидит и не знает, что с этим делать, потому что как бы плана-то особого не было. То есть это все плоды прошлого гидроархонта, который ей это все оставил. А она такая типа, ну блин, а что мне с этим делать? И просто сидит и пьет чай. Все. То есть ума у нее не хватило с этим хоть что-то сделать. Поэтому жители Фонтейна сами себе,
I'm
как
glad
сказать, да,
that you were willing to come with
принадлежат.
me. Of course, Child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
Мне, говорит, совсем не интересно, чем вы с ним занимаетесь. Ну,
That's what Paimon
понятно.
got.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude. That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and informal topics in informal settings. I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and Fremine are still there, and I trust their judgment and abilities.
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them, especially Linny.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to prove himself that he can't learn to rely on others, including me. By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, but what's your impression of Farina?
Почему у нее прическа, ну, волосы с этой стороны, волосы с той стороны похожи на перья почему-то?
You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily. Allow me to share my perspective with you.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the Fortress of Meripede.
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has caused? Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparations?
No need. I will take care of it myself. I need to meet with Farina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about her is that she often seems more like a celebrity than a working Archon.
Oh? Come over here, you little critter, you!
А это кто? А, это типа она одела капюшон на маску, и все, теперь ее не узнать? Вот она как. А кошечкой она управляет?
You dare to run from me? Stop right this
И тут у нее нет рукавов.
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Farina to be handed to me on a silver platter. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. After all, from the moment it was attached to the hook, the bait is meant to be sacrificed. It's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydronosis is not currently held by the Archon. In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
Каким образом она поняла, что сердце Бога не у нее, и она чувствует какое-то проклятие? Фатуев где-то этому обучают?
Who are you? And what are you trying to do? Please don't kill me. I'm begging you, please.
The fear in her pupils is genuine, so perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Farina dares not mention this incident to anyone. Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Farina quietly cried alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night, nor could she even bring herself to eat her cake. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon. Perhaps Iudex Neuvillette is actually the genuine article. I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession of it.
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please speak.
News from the fortress of Meripede. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards we bribed at the fortress have all gone quiet as well.
Probably the handiwork of that Wriothesley.
I'm afraid so.
Вот здесь вот, да, вот на вот этом рисунке цвета нарисованы как-то более по-другому, и они воспринимаются, ну, нормально. А вот именно моделька в игре, цвета такие, ну, типа блеклые. То есть тут прям контраст есть, прям четко видно. То есть вот этот рисунок, ну, нормальный. Здорово, Клен. Но именно в игре я надеюсь, что они все-таки переделают. Ну, хотя и тут, да, у этих персонажей тоже цвета немного сочнее выглядят. Но все равно, чем, ну, приятнее вид, прикольнее же.
The value of a harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse to exert diplomatic pressure on the Fontaine authorities. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Iudex Neuvillette. Oh, and I have an additional mission for you three.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this as my excuse, I can ask for an official audience and continue my investigation. The initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. My wish to investigate the fortress of Meripede will be a front. Linny and his group will be responsible for the actual intelligence gathering. You should know the rest. Linny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from you.
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Farina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened.
Alright then.
I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Farina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon. I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Iudex Neuvillette or Farina, neither fits the bill. It's hard to imagine either of them as the Archon.
Это ты еще Венти не видела. Угу. Типа они недостойны, не годятся, чтобы быть архонтами. Венти прям, он супер годится, он прям, вот да. У нас, по сути, из архонтов, которые хоть как-то управляют или влияют на страну, это только Райден и все. Ну, изначально были, да? То есть Венти просто бухает, дед сам слился, Нахида сидела в заточении, Фурина играет какой-то спектакль, и только Райден, которая, ну, она тоже сидела там в своей вот этой заперти и плакала, но тем не менее она, ну, как-то за страной следила, хотя по факту ей все равно управляла Мику, но в любом случае у нее была какая-то цель, и она ей придерживалась. Тут же у нас, ну, архонты как бы сами по себе. Это уже только после того, как мы Фурину освободили, она захотела там помогать людям, что-то вот это делать, а так она сидела просто в заперти и ничего не делала. Ну, потому что она не могла.
Of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do not require justification.
Вот сейчас было бы прям эпично, если бы на заднем фоне Венти бы прошел. И что-нибудь крикнул: «О, это был хороший Сидор» или что-нибудь такое. Это был бы самый эпичный момент, вот серьезно. Типа вот это всего лишь мои ощущения, ощущения часто не попадаются не поддаются объяснению. Ивенте такой проходит, типа, отличный сидр был, и уходит в закат. Вот было бы прям вот супер круто.
It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god of the land of my birth.
Не, ну сюжетку дойдем, там может быть еще немного обсудить, что-нибудь вспомнить.
Don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to rise to the surface. It looks like Fontainians will have no choice but to save themselves. Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. Should the need arise, I would be happy to cooperate with you. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday. He certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other, so I'll leave you to him.
О, времени-то уже, это что это такое?
Neverlet, is it over?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner or later the prophesized events will occur. Thank you for protecting Farina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the primordial sea and reseal the sluice gate. So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Farina. She's trying to feel her out, though I'm still up permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? But that's just a speculation on our part, though. You can't tell us? Then that's okay. We can talk about something else. We won't try to force you. You guys in Fontaine are super strange.
If by the phrase, you guys, you are referring to Farina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics. I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much grief and suffering. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us. I mourn this turn of events.
Huh? Why is it raining all of a sudden?
Вообще это выдра виновата. Ну да.
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking? The dragon of... what? Huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Farina?
Neverlet! Neverlet, are you listening?
My apologies.
We were just guessing randomly, we didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the dragon sovereign of water, right? Well,
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
right, of course. We'll definitely help you keep it a secret. There's still something Paimon wants to ask you, though.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the primordial sea from the fortress, then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the crisis?
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authorities.
Явившись в Тейват, первый тиран завладел частью силы драконов. Похищенная часть силы стала источником силы нынешней власти архонтов. Хорошо.
There are 7 elemental archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our ancient history. In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the prophecy.
Oh, so even you can't solve it.
Нет, это основная сюжетка, это не с Фриной, это просто сюжетка Фонтейна. Ну, Хоха я знаю, она мне тоже выпала, там что-то за 5 или за 10 круток. Она у меня есть.
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions regarding ancient history, you are welcome to discuss them with me at a later time.
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we pay another visit to the Fortress of Meropide? We'll see you another time.
Take care.
Так, ну, времени, короче, прям много, да, уже, все, хватит. Надо, короче, идти к Катерине, отдавать вот это вот все.
The skies have cleared? What a pity.
Ad Astra at... Thank you for completing today.
Так, значит, у нас есть драконы
Ad Astra
по
at...
элементу на каждый тип. Да? Ладно, мы знаем Анема Геодракона хорошо. Гидродракон это типа Апепа. Да? Ой, Гидродендра. Ну вот этот вот, да? Гидродракон у нас типа Нивелет. А что у нас по электродракону? Ну, это же не могла быть вот эта змея, которую Райден просто разрубила. Где она там? Вот отсюда жахнула или наоборот с этой стороны, да, и разрубила змею. Это же не может быть именно электродракон. Эта же штука вообще вылезла из-под земли, из энкономии. Куда делся электродракон? Эта штука тоже не похожа. Это просто этот электроокеанит. Как его там можно еще обозвать? И у нас в сюжете электродракона я тоже не помню. Да? Типа, а Пепа это не дендродракон, да? Его нет, он ушел. А почему я об этом не помню? Я это где-то пропустил. Ну, серьезно, в общем, надо будет где-нибудь, короче, гайды на ютубе поглядеть, что там по сюжетке, потому что я уже, ну, сюжетка идет реально долго, и она вся состоит именно из вот таких вот маленьких деталей, которые, ну, я просто пропускаю, я их уже забыл, если честно. А ведь сюжет-то продолжается, он уже идет долго, и если помнить все вот эти вот именно сюжетные детали маленькие, то можно уже даже предугадывать то, что будет как бы дальше, да? Ну, глобально. В общем, ладно. Завтра, скорее всего, если я буду, то будет опять же продолжение сюжетки. Что-то я прям как-то уже решил действительно ее просто добить, закрыть весь мир, выполнить там все, что можно. И уже, ну, как бы, хватит это все откладывать. Вот. На племя Ванесса? Кто такая Ванесса? А, Ванесса это... Это в Манштате было, да? Ну ладно, это мы потом прочитаем. Ну, не прочитаем, а я посмотрю какие-нибудь гайды, я потом вспомню про это. Ну, в общем, ладно. А завтра будет продолжение сюжетки, но я постараюсь. На сегодня все. Всем спасибо, что пришли, всем удачи, всем пока, приятного аппетита и спокойной ночи. Я пошел.